Hey everyone, Andrika here and welcome back to my channel. This week, the horrific vision of Orgrimmar is unlocked, which means we can now go and collect all of the parts needed to craft the coveted Voidfire Deathcycle. Yep, another bike mount, but this time in a purplish void-inspired theme. To obtain this mount, you'll need access to both versions of Horrific Visions, which currently seem to rotate weekly. In other words, you'll need 2 weeks in order to get it. That said, hopefully at some point we'll get access to both versions at the same time, but for now it's on a weekly cycle. First things first, you need to find the Voidfire Deathcycle inside the Stormwind Vision. However, it won't appear unless you are running with at least one Faceless Mask active. So before we jump into this step-by-step guide, let's quickly go over the masks. If you are already familiar with them, feel free to skip ahead. Mask is what you will call a difficulty modifier for Horrific Visions. Each active mask increases the health and damage of all mobs by 25, and that also stacks up. On top of that, each mask adds its own unique negative effect to the scenario. The first mask you'll be able to unlock is the Faceless Mask of the Long Night, which requires you to complete all 5 objectives within a single run of either Orgrimmar or Stormwind. This one is pretty tough to handle as it cuts your maximum sanity by 50%, so it's probably best to avoid using it, though having the Long Night can help you start unlocking more masks, ones that are easiest to handle. So the ones I recommend getting are the Burn Bridge and the Dark Imagination. Which one you go for first depends on which vision is currently active when you're watching this. Let's start off with the Burn Bridge. You'll unlock this mask by completing the Vale of Wisdom in the Vision of Orgrimmar with at least one mask on. It causes fire pools to spawn behind you, but as long as you keep moving, you'll have no trouble avoiding them. On the other hand, the Dark Imagination is unlocked by completing the Mage Quarter in Stormwind with one mask active. It spawns a horrific figment when your sanity drops below 50%, which is quite manageable. Just make your pick from one of these and get to Stormwind Vision, where we'll start with the first step. First and foremost, head to the Dwarven district next to the auction house. In the corner there, you'll spot a Voidcycle, which will be attackable. By killing it, you'll spawn its rider, Haemar the Devout, and killing the rider will make the Voidcycle to drop to the ground, thus allowing you to interact with it. You might need to squint your eyes here a bit because it's vaguely visible. Doing so will send the bike frame to Dornogal, where it will appear just to the left of the Visions area. Be aware that you cannot continue if you don't do this step first. Once the frame is placed in Dornogal, you can interact with it to receive clues about the 6 parts you need to collect. But since you are here, you obviously don't need to decipher the clues, I'll just tell you where they are, or even better, I'll show you. So most of them come from Horrific Visions, while others are crafted or bought. Keep in mind that the mats inside the visions are only visible with at least one mask, and the profession items must be 3-star quality. Once you find and install all 6 bike parts, you will receive your mount. The easiest way I can explain it is if we start off with each vision and see how to find the required masks. First up, from Stormwind Vision with one mask active, you can loot an item called Magic Line Manifold. You can find it near the entrance of the auction house in the Trade District area. While you're at it, complete all the objectives beside the Dwarven District to get 4 mats from the end chest. The Handlebars item is looted from the Old Town. The depleted Void Crystal comes from the Mage Quarter chest. Lastly, the parts needed to craft the wheels come from the Trade District, and the rest will be acquired through the Vision of Orgrimmar, which we'll see in a bit. Again, I recommend using either the Dark Imagination or the Burn Bridge. They are the easiest masks to manage, but feel free to use others if you are comfortable with them. Okay, now let's move on to the Vision of Orgrimmar to get the rest of the items. First, you need to find and loot the Voidforge engine block to craft the engine. Specifically, it can be found on top of a table inside the engineering shop in the Drag. While you're at it, complete the Valley of Honor by defeating Rexar to get the boar hide needed to craft the seat. Then you need to clear the Valley of Wisdom. This gives you another set of tentacle spokes and hide needed to craft the wheels. At this point, you should have gathered all of the Vision exclusive parts. Now it's time to figure out the vendor parts. Specifically, you'll need to visit one particular NPC called Big Keech. This vendor sells rare antiquities along with 2 items we need for the bike components. He's located near the Siege of Orgrimmar raid entrance at the original version of the Vale of Eternal Blossoms. If you are seeing the invaded version instead, just speak to Zidormi, located on top of the Mogu'Shan Palace, and she will switch back to the OG version of the Vale. Now from the vendor, you need to buy 4 Goblin Machine Pistons, 1k each, and also get the Elementium Plated Exhaust Pipe for 1.5k. That's 5500 gold total, unless you've got some kind of special deal with him. Moving on, the only thing left is to get the profession items, and most of them can be acquired through the auction house as well. But remember, they must be rank 3 quality, otherwise you won't be able to craft the bike parts. From tailoring, or like I said, the auction house, you need 5 Weaver Cloth Spell Thread. Next, we need 1 Refulgent Crystal, the epic quality crystal that comes from disenchanting, and 1 Storm Touch Weapon Wrap, crafted by leatherworking. Then we need a few more items from engineers. Luckily, I'm an engineer myself, so I actually crafted most of them, but like the rest, you can buy them from the auction house. You'll need 12 Entropy Enhancers, 3 Whimsical Wirings, 1 convincingly realistic jumper cables, 1 recalibrated safety switch, and last but not least, 1 irresistible red button. This one is BOP, so you need to either craft it yourself if you have engineering, like me, or use the crafting order system. You can ask a guilty, a random stranger, or even better, use an alt with engineering, if you have one. Now for the last and most exciting step, you can start combining all of the mods to craft the parts needed for the bike. Once you've created all 6 components, install each one onto the frame, and when everything's placed, hit the red button. You'll either explode or receive your brand new Voidfire Deathcycle mount. Even though this is technically a recolor of the earlier bikes, I honestly don't mind. I really like the design, and the Void theme twist gives it a fresh feel. If Blizzard keeps releasing more versions of this bike, I'm totally on board. In the meantime, there's more mounts coming from Horrific Visions, and I've covered quite a lot on this channel, so feel free to check those out next. And yeah, that's pretty much all. As always, thank you so much for sticking around until the end, and make sure to drop a like if you have found this video helpful. Share, don't forget to subscribe for more WoW coverage, and hit the bell to stay up to date. Good luck with whatever you're doing, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!